Welcome back to the Ed Show. Today marked the 4th day in the confirmation hearings for Judge Sonia Sotomayor. President Obama's pick looks headed for the Supreme Court. No question about that. The ranking Republican in the committee, Jeff Sessions, said the righties would not block the confirmation vote. Good news. Today, the judge showed her cool, answering questions on hot-button social issues like abortion and guns. My next guest was one of the witnesses who testified against the judge, believing that she should not be on the Supreme Court. Joining me now is Dr. Charmaine Yoest of Americans United for Life. Doctor, good to have you with us tonight.
It's great to be with you.
You bet. What is the red flag here? I mean, I've listened to these hearings and watched them. She seems very mainstream. Certainly liberal, but not whacked out. Okay,
right.
What's the red flag here for your group?
You know, that's a great way to ask the question, Ed, because the truth of the matter is, if there was one big, huge red flag, or if she was, you know, as you say, whacked out, she wouldn't be sitting there in front of the senators. She has a really compelling personal story, a distinguished professional record, but the truth of the matter is we have to look at the totality of her record, and we're putting together a couple of different factors that we find very troubling.
Number one is what?
The first thing is the speeches that we've heard about this week, where she really repeatedly, over time and in a number of occasions, has really expressed the fact that she brings her personal preferences to bear at the bench, and that undermines...
Well, what human being wouldn't bring their personal feelings and experiences to the bench to give her a better understanding of the law and the situation the people in the courtroom are going to be facing?
Well, the human being who wouldn't is supposed to be the judge that we put in that job. In fact, the judicial oath that you take, you swear to be impartial and to not bring your personal preferences to bear.
So why is it that the white guys who are on the Supreme Court didn't get the same line of questioning that she's getting? Does she have to think like an old white guy to be on the Supreme Court? She can't say that, hey, I'm a Latina woman and this is what I've been through in life and I see the world through a different glass, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go outside the law.
Well, to be fair, the reason she's getting these questions, Ed, is because she's the one who's been pretty aggressive out there giving these speeches, not just once but multiple times, saying, you know, for example, one of the quotes that I used in my testimony that hasn't been heard as much is she talked about the creative juices that you use. You know, that's just really outside our understanding of what an impartial judge is supposed to be and what Americans expect from their judiciary.
Okay, now for 2 days she had to answer the question about that speech she gave 8 years ago, referring to being a Latina woman and the insight that she might have. Why is that such a big deal? Number one, 8 years ago, she's done a lot on the bench since then, and then she basically apologized both times she was pressed on it.
Well, let me bring my testimony in, if you don't mind, because
sure.
As I said, we're looking at the totality of her record, and we're putting a couple different pieces together here. The first is the speeches. Those are not, take those in a vacuum. You take those and then you look and you see she spent 12 years serving on the board of a group, from our perspective, that had a very radical pro-abortion agenda. They took 6 cases forward to the Supreme Court where they argued over and over again, repeatedly, that abortion should be a fundamental right that shouldn't be restricted in any way with any kind of common sense regulations like parental notification, informed consent, bans on partial birth abortion. You know, Ed, you know, you and I might disagree on abortion, but you know, an awful lot of people, even that I disagree with on abortion, come together over this question of parental notification, for example. As a mother, I don't want my daughter to have a surgical procedure without my knowledge, and these are the kinds of things that are very common sense, but the Puerto Rican Legal Defense Fund was on the other side of it.
Well, Doctor, why are the Republicans not going to, in full force, vote against her then?
Well, I think there's still time to go. It'll be interesting to see. I think you've seen the Republicans give her some tough questioning, and we're
you had the chairman, you had the ranking Republican tonight, Mr. Sessions from Alabama, saying she's going to get in. So, I mean, what you're bringing up doesn't seem to be resonating with the Republicans on the committee.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens because we still have the floor discussion to go. So, you know, we'll be keep putting forward the truth about how extreme her record was as she was associated with the fund. And I think it's important for the American people to know that, for that to be on the record. There's still people who are learning the extent of her record, and so, you know, we're very interested in getting that information out there.
All right, Dr. Charmaine Yoest, Americans United for Life. I've appreciated the conversation tonight. Thanks so much.
Great to be with you.
You bet. Next up on the Ed Show.